I got the new, it's not the new one, but it's a Lowrance Hook Reveal with triple shot. So we've got down scan, side scan, and traditional fish finder with mapping. And I'm going to install a triple bank charger here. So what we're going to be doing is taking off the old trolling motor, putting on the new one. We're going to be removing the 3 old batteries. We're going to be taking the battery for the main motor, pulling that. We're going to pull the other 2. We're going to completely disconnect everything. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do the electrical. Then what I'm going to do is, this is a 24 volt. So we're going to hook up 2 batteries for this guy. Then I'm going to dedicate 1 battery for the big motor. Then I'm going to leave 1 other battery for the fish finder and all the pumps and stuff inside. So we're going to show you how we're going to separate that. So right now I have 3 batteries. I have an extra, so technically it's a 2 battery system here on my boat, and we're going to turn it into a 4 battery system. I'm going to show you guys how we do that. Bam! I'll catch you guys on the next one as soon as we get started working. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first, before we get into the work, I want to show you guys what tools you're going to need, especially if you're going to be doing a 24 volt trolling motor battery. Remember, you're going to need 2 12 volt batteries, and you're also going to need a jumper cable to connect them. Basically, just one. You're going to go from negative to positive on 1 battery. Then you're going to use the negative lead on 1 battery and the positive lead on the other. And that's how you're going to get 24 volts. If there's any confusion about it, look it up. You don't want to melt your batteries or destroy any of your equipment, okay? But what we're going to need, depending on your situation, you're going to need a drill kit and a drill here. If you are going to be putting holes in the boat, you're going to also probably want some sealant. Depending on where you're locating your transducer, you're going to need a small crescent wrench or either a larger one. You're not going to need 2. An 11-in-1 is good. It's going to have both your Phillips and your flathead. You may need some wire strippers, you may not. If you're going to be doing any electrical connections, do not use your wire strippers to crimp. They will have a loose connection and you may get fires in your boat. Definitely use an actual crimping tool to tighten down any connections if you're going to make crimps. We've got some wire nuts just in case. Don't forget your dielectric gel for your batteries and the caps. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to take off all the electrical leads before we get started. And what I do is I got some red duct tape that I'm going to wrap my hot wires with, and the black ones I'm going to leave alone because those will be my negative. So we'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we got 3 new batteries. I'm going to use my best battery. I'm going to keep it for the fish finder and all the pumps. Trolling motor's getting its 24 volt twin, and I'm getting a new starter battery for the big motor. Okay, so you notice here I've got a red lead here on the negative terminal because whoever sold me the boat and did all this, they used a red clip instead of a black one. So we've got red over here, we've got black over here, but we've also got a red. So we don't get anything confused, what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to wire nut this together. Then I'm going to take this, right, and I'm going to tape it together. So I'm going to tape this together, and I'm going to tape this together, and I'm going to tape this using red tape so I know that it's my hot leads. Then I'm going to install my new 3 charger bank. There's my old 2 charger bank, which I'm going to leave and cap off 1 set of wires. That way this one will charge the battery that's by itself, and my 3 charger bank will take care of these. So I hope that makes sense. If not, leave a comment below and I'll try to help you out if you have any questions. We've got a jumper piece from one 12 volt battery over to the other. So you take one, you're going to hook it from the negative of one battery to the positive of the other battery. Then when you hook your terminals up, you're going to go, one trolling motor lead's going to go to the positive of one battery and the other, well, positive of this battery, and then the negative of that one. So that's how I'm going to get 24 volts. So these 2 are going to be dedicated for the trolling motor. I've put the fish finder and the pumps on the closest battery, and I've dedicated now the end battery there to the big motor, and everything has been hooked up just to make sure. And then now what I've done is I have disconnected all the negative terminals. So all the negative terminals are just kind of hanging off, chilling. And as soon as we get everything hooked back up, I'll show you guys in a second. Now, when you're doing the trolling motor and you go to pull off your bolts, it's very important that when you're putting a new trolling motor on, you have to make sure you're using your rubber grommets, because if not, your fiberglass is going to crack. Now, when you go to take your screws off of your old trolling motor, it is very important that you use the right screw, or the right head for the right screw. If not, you will strip the bolt. So make sure you have the right size to get these out. And then you'll notice what will happen is you'll get in there and they'll just spin. They won't actually come out. They'll just kind of, they'll break, you know, loose, but they won't come out. So what you're going to want to do is one at a time, get something under there, and don't pry too hard, just pry loosely, right? Then slowly apply pressure as you loosen the bolts, and they will come out. So I've got this one out, this one's almost out, and these are loose. We're going to go to those next. We'll see you as soon as we get this trolling motor off. Tearing my boat up, right? So anyways, this is the only access right here to get to my electrical. So if you're taking off, or to get to my bolts, so if you're replacing a trolling motor, you're going to notice you can't just bolt it onto the edge of the boat. Once you take your old one off and you're going to put your new one on, you have to get a washer and a nut back there. And so how are you going to get a washer and a nut, right, and hold it and get it underneath here and screw this in? There's no access panels, right? There's no way to get to it, and this little hole here is not good enough to reach your hand all the way through, especially for how fat my hand is, right? And there's no access. Now my deck is fiberglass and wood, and there are no screws, bolts, or ways to get into the electrical compartment here. So my ideas were, I could have put a cup holder up front and tried to get to it from there. But what I'm going to do here, right, is cut an access hole big enough to get my whole hand in there. Then I can screw and bolt those on, and then my foot pedal here is going to cover the hole. So make sure you guys know what you're getting into before you start this process, how you're going to get wires from point A to point B. And also don't be afraid to get your saw out and get a little dirty. So we'll see you as soon as this is done. All right, guys and gals, we've got the trolling motor mounted, doing good. iPilot and spot lock, so I'm loving it. Not really excited about the wiring. I'd have to get like a specific fish finder to pair it with it to it. Otherwise, running the wiring up and down from the transducer to the top on this particular model is a pain in the ass, because there's no way I can run my wire along the shaft, because when I release this, the shaft will slide through here and through here. So there's not really anything I could tie this to, so not really excited about this, but we'll have to figure that out. So anyways, we've got this on. I've got to vacuum the boat out. We got the pedal in place. It's working. Everything's working. That's great. So got the fish finder hooked up. I'll go ahead and make sure she turns on. Look at that. So we've got our fish finder hooked up now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Just wanted to make sure it was getting power and everything was good. We've got our batteries all set up. I might have to wait for this to load before I can turn it off. Got this installed. I've got a lot of work to clean up. I'm going to be putting this up for sale, probably like 50, 75 bucks, see if someone wants it. But I've got all my batteries set up. Last thing I'm going to do is set up my 3-way charger. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got my 4 batteries all wired up, and I've got my chargers installed. I've just got to get all that spaghetti noodle taken care of and straightened out, and wire nutted, and we're done with the battery banks. Let's hop over and see how the trolling motor and fish finder look. All right, now I just need to vacuum out the boat, clean it out a little bit, and everything's looking pretty good. We've got my Minnkota Terrova spot lock iPilot trolling motor here with my Lowrance Hook 7 Reveal. Yep, everything's cherried. The seat or the pedal don't move around. I've installed it to the deck. Ran the wiring all behind here. I just need to tidy it and clean it all up. But we're at least ready to go play out on the water as soon as I get the boat clean. One last thing about this particular trolling motor is the shaft slides through here and slides through there, and I haven't figured out a way to get the wire ran 100% without it getting all jacked up in here. So if you have any tips or tricks, let me know. Otherwise, we're ready for the lake, and see you guys on the first fish when I get out there and put a hurting on them.